On a very hot day during very dangerous times, Ferris is outside mining. It was risky for her, because every day bandits would wander around, picking on corpses like vultures. But this doesn't matter to her. All she had to do was mine. Every day, on every scorching hot day, she would go out to mine for raw iron. And when she would mine for all she could carry, she would climb up a steep hill into a shady bar just to sell her iron. But once Ferris sold that iron, she would walk back down that steep hill and start mining again. Sometimes a hungry bandit or two would come after her, and when she couldn't run away, they beat her to an inch of her own life. No one would come to help her. She could be there for days, maybe even weeks, not even sure whether she would live or not, unable to move. But at some point in time, she would wake up, alive, beaten, bruised, but alive. And she would walk into the shady bar, pay for her bed, and sleep until she recovered. After she woke up, she would go downhill, only just to mine again. She would do this every day, experience this every day, almost die nearly every day. It wasn't like this long ago. Used to be, the hub was controlled by the Holy Nation. The Holy Nation wasn't very good to people like her, but at least it was safe. She had a loving family. She had the comfortable workplace. All she had to do was keep her head down. But then one day the Shek Kingdom arrived and they took over the hub. But after a while, the Shek Kingdom was drawn out, and the Holy Nation took it over again. But then the Holy Nation themselves would get drawn out and the Shek Kingdom would take it over. And it wouldn't be very long until no one was able to hold it. Neither the Holy Nation nor the Shek Kingdom had the power nor capability of holding the hub. And now it was controlled by nothing more than vagabonds and shady thieves, the occasional bandit. The only place of solace would be the bar. Occasionally the thieves would stand around to help guard the place. They were, of course, ninjas, so they had a little bit more honor than the average thief. Either way, it still wasn't as safe as they used to be. There was no food, no normal way of working, no safe way of working. The only way Ferris could gain any type of food was by selling iron and buying a nice hot meal of vegetable soup. Sometimes there would be meat wrapped, sometimes there would be bread. But that was only if she could afford that. For the most part, she would buy hot soup. Occasionally, if people couldn't afford it, they would even sell their own weapons, which was more of a death sentence than anything else. More than once, Ferris watched people sell their own weapons only to be accosted by bandits once they left. their bodies just strewn to the ground, no one out there willing to help them. Not even Ferris had the luxury to go out and help people. First aid kits were not expensive, but they were few and far between. Of course, Ferris had to stop thinking about these things and return to mining. At some point in time, she ran into this strange fellow, same red hair, rather lanky person. He called himself Openfield. He wasn't very strong, but like her, he had nothing to take care of himself. No sword, no nothing, just wearing nothing but rags, much like her. So Ferris invited him to come help her mine. Two was better than one after all. Of course, that didn't mean that they wouldn't get beaten to an inch of their own life, but at the very least, it turned out to be a great idea. As more than once Ferris had been near death and Oakenfield had saved her life. And vice versa, Oakenfield would be near death and Ferris would save his. Either way, both Ferris and Oakenfield took to mining. Every day, every hot, dry day, they would go downhill, they would mine iron, then they would go back hill and sell that iron. And they would make a little bit of money, enough money to even join the Thieves Guild. By that point, things got a little better for them. They were able to buy proper clothes, backpacks, better weapons to protect themselves. At some point, as bandits came in to attack them, sometimes they won. Sure, they were hungry bandits, but for every waking day that they got attacked, they never won once. Not once did they win a single battle. But this time they did. At some point, Ferris thought, maybe I can become something more than this. One day, Ferris hoped that she could become greater. Not just greater, she wanted to build her own nation, her own city where people followed her. Wheat, green fruit, and cactus all around. Plenty of food, plenty of protection. The armor and weaponry to show that they can protect themselves. However, that's just a dream. A dream that is very, very far away. But still, Ferris wondered if she could get out of this hellhole that she got brought into. All it would take is just a single step. Perhaps one day. Until then, both Ferris and Oakenfield would keep mining. Every day. Every hot, dry day. With the occasional bandit getting involved. Every single day.